Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
This is our GMC Sierra tweet of the night. It comes from NFL on CBS. They always have good stuff, and this is one of them. This is hard to believe. Joe Flacco was retired a month ago, but now games with 250 yards passing and 2 touchdowns plus in a game. Flacco has done it 3 weeks in a row with Cleveland. The Steelers have not done it since Big Ben Roethlisberger retired, which is stunning when you think about it, and a real indictment of what this offensive play calling and playbook has been over these last several years. Let's go to the lines at 412-575-2600. We'll begin with John in New Kensington. Hello, John. What's up?
Hi, Bob.
How are you?
Nice to talk to you. You've been a sports figure in this town for a long time. You followed the Steelers for a long time. This reminds me of 83 to 92 at the end of Chuck Noll's career. They brought in Bill Cowher. And then Bill Cowher left after 15 years. They bring in Mike Tomlin. Is a shelf life for a Pittsburgh Steelers coach 15, 16 years? And if so, Mr. Rooney needs to open up his playbook, open up his pocketbook, and start paying some coordinators and people that know what they're doing on both sides of the ball so they look like they
play Mike Tomlin
better than high school football.
11 to 12 million a year, so he's not shy about that. But I get what you're saying about the assistants, and that's mostly the head coach's responsibility to hire them. But now you have to wonder, if Mike Tomlin continues on, what will they do with their coaching staff, and who will be in charge of bringing people in? Because certainly they have to get better at it. They have to have people who've done this successfully in this league, I think, for quite some time, or get one of these hotshot guys that you see in the San Francisco 49ers system. They seem to get head coaching jobs and take off with it. So, and I'm talking about offensive minds too here. This is what you need in the NFL moving forward. We just showed that statistics about Flacco versus what the Steelers have done here. You got to have quick strike ability. You got to have down the field ability, and they don't have much of that at all. But we'll see. At the end of the season, Mike Tomlin only has 1 year left on a contract. So, something's going to have to give here. If they do give an extension, and I'm not sure if that's the right or wrong way to go at this point, but they need better coaching all the way around. They certainly do. And you may ask the question, too, about this roster. Is it as good as you might have thought, what we thought at the end of preseason? There are a lot of holes there on a lot of different positions, and they need to get better at it for sure. All right, back to the lines. We got Bill in Butler joins us on line 2. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Okay. What I want to say is they run the offensive coordinator out of town, and he took the playbook with him because they have done nothing at all.
No, the playbook's still there. They just haven't. The play calling has been just blah. The usage of plays, it's situational calls haven't worked at all. There's still a lot of throwing below the sticks. The call yesterday on Najee Harris at the goal line, they're a yard away, and they pitch it to him. He's 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. These kinds of things bother me. They just need a whole different approach to offense. I don't think there's any question about that. How they do it, we'll find out in the offseason. But they're going to have to look. One thing, ultimately, whenever this time comes and Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach, it should be one of the more attractive jobs that you're going to find in the NFL because the Steelers have a history of supporting their coaches, and it's worked well for them in terms of all these years. So you're going to attract top quality. You got to get the best. And I'll go back to offensive mind. In this game today, with all the rules that are slanted toward the offense, you really need offensive minds and good young ones who come in. All right, let's go out to Ray in Whitehall. What's up, Ray? How are you?
Hey, how you doing? This is in regards to Henry Davis after Rodriguez was ruled out for the season. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they should consider maybe moving him to first base? Because I thought that if they really had confidence in him being a catcher, they probably would have let him catch. And I also think, as far as right field is concerned, I don't know if he could play it on a regular basis. I think they put him in right in PNC, that he has doesn't have a lot of room to cover, but he goes on the road, it's a different story.
Well, first of all, they should have caught him last year. I agree with you in that regard. I know they thought Andy Rodriguez was going to be the future. There's no harm in giving him a shot. He's a rookie. That's the position they drafted him, number 1 overall. It can't be just for your bat. It's got to be a position of need, which was catcher. Number 2, they won't put him there. They have Rowdy Tellez. They have Connor Joe. They have the same kind of makeup that they've had over the years, rotating first baseman every single year. Most of them with their best days behind them. He should catch. That's what they got him here to do. It would be a plus for Henry Davis to be behind home plate, catching every day and hitting the way he's capable of. That way you solve 2 things. You get another bat in the lineup, and you don't have to worry about bringing in some has-been catcher who has to catch just because they have no one else. 412-575-2600. Back to the lines. We have Dave in Squirrel Hill. Hey, hello, Dave. What's going on?
How you doing? You're looking good, kid.
Thank you for saying kid. That makes me feel good.
Well, from my perspective, I have a 2-part question or challenge for you.
Okay.
The first part, have you been able? No one's been able to answer. Is there anything positive you saw in the Steeler game? And the second part is can you see anything positive coming after they lose the next 3 games?
Well, the only positive, if they do lose the next 3 games, it'll be an opportunity to move up significantly in the draft, and I do think they need help. They have to also decide, and it's not that they're not going to play Kenny Pickett, but they have to decide if they need more quarterback help. I foresee next year they're going to get rid of both Trubisky and Rudolph, and they will redraft that position. They have to. And again, I think Kenny Pickett could be good if he has the right system in place that helps him as a passer. His arm strength will not change. It is what it is. Decision-making better get better because it hasn't been good at times. But he still, I think, has the capabilities of doing that. Terry Bradshaw thought today on the air that he is their answer quarterback. They just need a better system, and I agree with that. Did I see anything good yesterday? Not really. I saw a lot of bad yesterday. I saw George Pickens not block at the goal line. I saw George Pickens avoid tackling on that interception. I'll pick on those guys all the time. They're the ones who want the ball all the time, but guess what? If you're a receiver and you and Deontay Johnson aren't giving your all when you're not getting the ball, well, there's a problem. And somebody in that locker room on the offensive side needs to address that. You can't have that going on. Minkah Fitzpatrick was verbal last week a little bit about that. He didn't back down this week, although he got injured yesterday, so he wasn't around after the game either. So you got to do better. And you can't call out your other side of the ball. Deontay Johnson yesterday in the postgame, I was stunned that the first thing when asked about what went wrong, he said, well, the defense is leaking. Okay, so is the offense. The offense has been leaking a lot more than the defense. You just shouldn't do that, attack the other side of the football. It's not a good thing to do. All right, let's go out to John in Oil City, up there by Tionesta. What's up, John?
Yeah, thanks, Bob, for taking my call. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're kind of stealing my thunder with all these comments, but I do have a couple comments about the Steelers. It seems like the rest of the league, you watch these games on Sunday, it looks like the rest of the league is playing at a different level than the Steelers. It's just really disappointing. And I have one thing that's really bothering me. If Harmon punts for the Steelers next year, I think I'm going to try to be a walk-on and see what I can do for him. He's absolutely
I think he's had an inconsistent enough year. I would agree with you. They have to make a change there. He had some personal stuff in the first year. I get that. I understand. But he's been too inconsistent. Special teams has got to be better than it is in terms of field position. And yesterday, I think he averaged 30.4. I was surprised when Boswell was taken off the field in favor of a punt there. You could have made it a one-possession game with a guy who's been reliable all year, and yet they chose not to do that. 412-575-2600. Let's go to John in Kennedy Township here. John, what's going on?
I think it's time for Mr. Tallman to quote Chuck Noll, it's time to get on with his life's work. Second, Mr. Trubisky still carries on while they run him out of Chicago because he hasn't seen a receiver with 3 men on him that he doesn't like to throw to. And last but not least, Mr. Harris. I've seen Pop Warner League kids with more leg drive than he has. 1 yard at the goal line, and he can't push that ball in the end. Doesn't make any sense to me. And last but not least, when are we going to get a good offensive line coach? We haven't had one since Munchak.
Yeah, they've been rather inconsistent. There's no question about that. The offensive line has taken a step backward as this season has gone on. And I thought they were going to make strides. Do you remember that 4-game stretch where they're averaging 160 yards per game rushing the football? And then all of a sudden it changed. And, they have many problems. There's no question about that. And you ask yourself in this offseason, how do you start this process of fixing? You cannot fix what has ailed them in the next 3 weeks. It's not going to happen. So then will it take another offseason and another season after that? Who knows? It just depends the decision they make. And that's why it's a high-pressure packed business, and that's why they get paid a lot of money. They got to figure it out because, quite frankly, at this point, as Mike Tomlin said, there aren't many answers, and they got to find answers somewhere. I don't know what you can do on a short week like this. They could play on Saturday again. You don't have many available people, a lot of injuries. What are you going to do? You can't put Spencer Anderson on your offensive line and all of a sudden expect magic. To me, I just go as far deep into that playbook and throw things that I haven't seen all year. What do you got to lose? And if you want to get your opinion heard, don't forget to tune in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call tonight at 10:35 on KDKA+. So give us a call at 412-575-2600. We do it every night after the 10 o'clock news. For CBS News Pittsburgh, I'm Bob Pompeani.